Hello, hello. Hey, Sinistella. There's the. Apparently, you can do the same resub. Huh, interesting. Well, thank you, nonetheless. Let me restart my video capture. There we go. Yeah, it's strange. I've always heard of people like I can see this on the same screen. Well, not when it's on my right monitor, but yeah, Sinistella subscribed for 21 months and then subscribed for 21 months. Very strange. I guess you announce it ahead of time, but then the payment lets you announce it again. Anyway, whatever. Thank you. All right, that would be cleaner. Use this to maintain an overlapping player reference, then in physics process. Avoids querying and iterating every frame, so retries. Yeah, okay, so change to this new style. Hey, Steven. All right, so let's take a picture of this or a snapshot. 49%. I mean, it should be the same because I didn't do anything while I was on my lunch break. But yeah, my reset expires on the 17th, which is what day of the week? Today's Wednesday, so it must be Friday. Yeah. So we should reset it, I guess, tomorrow. If I don't manually do it, will it do it for me? Does it say what time of day it resets? Oh, this doesn't, but that API probably does. Hang on a second. Let me go take a look. Hub's chat history should have this. No. It was sent to me over Discord. Hang on. Okay, let me go take a look on Discord. Because I should use this as late as I can. Give me a sec. Yes, they have the exact expiration date here. Weirdly, this says that it's the 18th that it expires, but this says the 17th. And hovering over it doesn't tell you any more information. The other ones are also off by, no, this one's off by a day. This one is not. And this one is not. So maybe it's a local time thing. Yeah, because this is at midnight, 30 minutes after midnight. So for me, it's the end of Friday, workday. Yeah. My reset, my AI reset expires at this. Use it today. I'm pretty sure I said, hey, Steven, but hey, Steven, and hey, Stats. Lunch was good. I just had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We made sandwiches last night, and we toasted some extra bread for a sandwich that didn't end up getting eaten. So, um, I just put it in storage. It is not nice having toasted bread the next day. I will say that. The texture is horrendous. It's like tough and chewy. But I didn't want to waste the food. Hey, Schwartz. All right, so how's this doing? Should be done. Yeah. So now let's go take a look at this. Review. Can I not? I can't copy the path. I can over here. Oh, nice. That worked. CDO this, dot. All right, get status, why does it modify the translation thing? I'm just going to check this in. Git commit, or I guess add, git commit, doesn't matter. I guess I could have just copied the changes too. Spray it with water and throw it in the oven. Well, at this point, I've already eaten it. I don't end up in this situation that often. I probably should have looked up online how to reconstitute it. But I was like, yeah, I just want to relax. This morning, I think it went really well. But it is still work. Hey Meyer, did you use Codex CLI before the desktop app? Would you say the experience on the desktop app is better? I did not use the Codex CLI, no. For Claude, I tried Claude Code for like 2 minutes, and then I just thought, why am I even bothering? Like, let me just use the desktop app. I find that the desktop app is a pretty good experience for both of them. And yeah, maybe if I tried the CLI, I might like it. But yeah, I just haven't seen the need to give it a shot. All right, so now if we just stand here, we should be able to take damage from this thing. Yeah. Let me stand over here. So it can kind of stun lock you. I mean, not really. You could just walk away from it, I guess. Oh no, it can definitely stun lock you. Okay, you should be invincible for a small amount of time. Hey Tim, thank you for the raid. I know Tim can't hear me right now because he said he was in an ad. But shout out to Tim. I want to know what you've been up to. I don't want to keep you here though if you have to get going. Yeah, welcome in everyone. I don't know if you're also all watching an ad, but let me show you what I've been working on lately. Give me 1 sec. Add iframes for the player after getting hurt. They should be invincible for an extra like half second, maybe 0.25 seconds after the hurt animation stops. Hey Jessica, hey Sashamara. Yeah, so I've been working on a game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, and it's been going pretty well. So I'll start from, how about this? Let's start from the title screen. So we do not have an impressive title screen. This is for sure just very basic. But when you click start game now, we now have the character customization thing. So you can customize the hair color, shirt color, skin color, eye color, and boots and shorts. So this is very weird looking, but anyway, let's just say we go with those colors. So the game drops you into a platformer first, and it's got some basic tutorial text here, and there's sort of a game. But as you're going through this stuff, you end up going to different worlds and different games. So you go from here into a farming game, and then from there into a top-down shooter, and then there's this like loot boxes, Zelda inspired game. And the one I've been working on lately has been the Dungeon Racer game. I started this on Monday, so it hasn't been very long. You can run around in this game. You can use your sword. I wonder if we should knock enemies back when you do this. Anyway. Yeah. So you can run around, you can use your sword, you can go down into deeper in the dungeon. There's nothing here yet. We're going to be fleshing this out today. And then at some point, you're going to get a bomb upgrade and you're going to try bombing a wall. But instead of the wall getting destroyed, it's just going to destroy the dungeon. And it's going to start falling and you'll just have to like fall down with it. And then you'll be in this endless runner style game. So it's really cool that you think that this is a Zelda game to begin with, and then it turns into this. And we don't actually have anything in this corridor. It's literally just an endless corridor. So yeah, eventually we're going to add in obstacles, and eventually the floor catches up with you. You can never fully outrun it. And yeah, if you fall, you just start in a new procedurally generated dungeon. So this has been a lot of progress in 2 days. I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, it's not like I made the artwork. I don't do artwork. This is stuff I bought off of itch. Been fixing my engine shaders and render, massive cleanup, removing hacks and second guesses, going up and down and sometimes backwards. But that means sometimes forwards, right? I'm gonna grab lunch and then jump on my racing channel after. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Hope you have a good lunch. And thanks again for the raid. And I hope there is forward progress. It's not all just up and down and backwards. Because, yeah, I know what it's like to be stuck on things for a long time. It's not fun. I think as long as it feels like there are little bits of progress, sometimes it's okay. It's like if I do a difficult bug investigation and I feel like I ran out of ideas, that's a bad feeling. But if I'm like, okay, I have 5 ideas and I try this one, I learn a little bit, and I try this one and I'm like, oh, okay, that actually revealed something, then it's not so bad. It doesn't feel like I'm just treading water. All right, overlapping player. Keep track of this. This is totally fine. Yeah, this is much more reasonable. So I learned from Skeleseller some of the aspects of Godot that can be slow, and calling Git overlapping bodies on every single frame is just generally not a great idea. For a game like this, it might not matter too much. If you pass in null here, it should just return immediately, right? Nah, it probably still calls it a native code. Try take slime hit. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so this is allow slimes to hurt you by moving. You used to have to move into the slimes. This is looking great. Thanks, Jessica. I appreciate it. Yeah. So this is done. So now visual patrol points and iframes. Let's go do both of these things. So yeah, I've been using AI a lot more. I think this has been quite nice. Add invincibility or make the dungeon runner player invincible for 0.25 seconds after the hurt animation ends. That way they can't get stun locked. And then we'll kick off another one of these. New work tree. Oh, hopefully I did that off of Dungeon Racer. Did I? I don't know how to tell, but if I go into here, I could probably find out. FFI dungeon. Yes. Okay, that's good. All right, visual patrol points. Did this not work? Maybe I didn't type anything. All right, in the dungeon, or I guess just, how about this? Slime.tscn. I want this to have visual patrol points, i.e. something I can see in Godot rather than just a vector 2 that I can edit. How would we accomplish this? One way of doing it is with a node 2D. Just put it underneath the slime. It'd be totally fine. Or add in a node 2D as a patrol point and then reference it via an exported property. But I don't like directing the AI too much. Like, I have ideas for how I do it, but maybe there's something I'm not thinking of. And then also I want to treat the spawn position as the starting point. In other words, we should only have to manifest a single end position. End position, and the slime will patrol between those 2 points. All right, plan mode done. Okay, so those should be good. Next up, getting hit by an enemy should make you lose coins. We'll hold off on that because that may have a merge conflict with the invincibility frames. Make some dungeon pieces. So we got to work on the Zelda part. This is endless runner stuff. Endless runner tasks. Add enemies in. Let's hold off on that too. Let's do this part, maybe. We should probably add the coin display as well. All right, make the bombing room. The bombing room I already have listed here. So room 1, starter room, not much danger, maybe an enemy or 2, no puzzles, staircase to the next floor. So we have this room over here. It has a single slime. It's right there, although it doesn't show up in the editor. But we have a single slime. We have a staircase. Honestly, I'm not thinking of too much for the very first room. I think slimes as an enemy, we can teach you that, like, yeah, you take damage. Maybe there are coins in here to show that you can get coins. So yeah, some coins, some slimes. Add coins, make there be a total of 3 slimes. And that's it. All right, now room 2 would have a puzzle in it. And the puzzle is going to be this thing about killing slimes and lighting torches. Is there an easier puzzle we can come up with? I need some just like simple idea. So we have these pillars that can rise out of the ground and they can be lit up. Maybe there's something we can do with that. And we have these switches too. We could have it so that you have to toggle switches in a certain way. We just need some, like, you know, baby's first Zelda puzzle kind of thing. could also be that you're pushing crates around or something. We have this style of switch as well. And we have these, but I want to save those for being zipper panels. We really don't have too much. Oh, you know what we could do? Some Zelda games have done this sort of thing where they have like a hidden switch and you have to find the switch on the floor. Like one of these tiles is secretly a switch. It's not fun, is it? I don't think it's fun. I always find those very frustrating. Hey, Remy. Yeah. I don't think it's like there are a few places they did it in A Link to the Past. VG maps. Like one of them is in the very first dungeon. Where is the... Yeah, here. Is it there? No, it's not there. Yeah, here. Can I zoom? Yeah. All right, so this room down at the bottom, this is the correct switch. The X and O does not show up in the game, so you can't tell. You can just tell that 4 of these are different, and one of them can be activated, and you otherwise have to dodge these cannonballs that are being fired all over the room. So, like, is it a fun puzzle? No, not really. Although in this case, like, having it be one room in A Link to the Past, I don't think this is egregious. And yeah, I guess same thing over here. I guess they did it 2 rooms in a row. Yeah, they had another switch you were supposed to press here. Some indication. That's fine. At least you can see where to stand. You have to figure out which one it is. Yeah, if we did that... Okay, so that's an idea. Let's write down some other ideas that we can come up with here. Ideas for puzzles. And we can put this in quotes. We could have a bunch of switches, but only some of them are real. Or you have to press them in a certain order. This is only fun if there are obstacles / danger. Otherwise, you're just walking around for no reason. What else? I mean, I do think we have to do something with switches. I think the torch puzzle that I talked about already is going to be fine. We also have these pillars that rise out of the ground. This is more of an indication that you've done something correctly than it is a part of a puzzle, I'd say. Hey, Sarah, are you well fed as well? Konami code? That's a little intense. Indeed. All right, well, let's think of the switches thing then. Maybe you toggle these switches and it makes these pillars rise out of the ground. And like, is it an ordering thing? I'm unfortunately always well fed. There's always food rations in your inventory. A bunch of switches or pressure plates. So what would be an interesting way of using levers? We have those pillars that can pop out of the ground. Like, I guess lever puzzles in general are either like guess a sequence, guess a state, like A is on, B is off, C is on, D is on, something like that. Turn on A, then C, then D, then B. Or just like getting to them is the problem. Like defeat an enemy to get to A, solve a mini puzzle to get to B, etc. have the pattern, but it flips neighboring switches. That's the lights out game. Yeah, this is this game. So you press a button and it toggles all the ones around it. GLFA, thanks for the 3 streams you've been watching for. Hello, hello. So lights out, like toggling a switch changes adjacent switches. I don't like really any of these ideas so far. There could be like toggling a switch changes something in the room and you need to manipulate the room to get it to do something. I don't know. Maybe it's like you have these panels and there's a key on these panels and they're just going around in circles and each switch like changes the arrows somehow so that you need to get it to, the key will come to you. And yeah, that could work. Okay, something we could do, we have this track where we could have these spike traps going through. Maybe the spike traps need to like cut open some crates. But then if you try going there, it will also hurt you and knock you back. That could work. Could write that down. Maybe there's a buzz saw that you need to enable in order to cut boxes. But if you leave it enabled, it'll knock you away from the objective. Oh, let's hold off on that for a second. Let's go take a look at this. Use Slime's authored position as the patrol star and add 1 draggable marker 2D. Marker 2D? Is this an actual thing? Are you kidding me? I did not know this existed. This is why I'm glad I asked AI about this stuff because it's exactly what I wanted. Wow. Awesome. Add a uniquely named patrol endpoint marker 2D. Move exported patrol points in ready. Cache the initial position. Continue moving between those positions. Migrate room 1. Yeah. This is great. Okay, implement this plan. Gold. Gold. All right, add invincibility after the hurt animation ends. Blocks slime and generic hits through the shared damage guard, including coin loss. Clears cooldown. Wait, coin loss. Oh yeah, wait, did we code that? I don't remember that being coded. Also, this needs to be cut out, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, this won't do anything though unless I close over here. I gotta check that in at some point. All right, so I want to go look at Dungeon Racer Player. Do we ever make you lose coins? Coin count. This is collect coin. Try take it. Oh, I see. Yeah. Nothing calls this yet. But that's because I just haven't coded that yet. All right, so let's go take a look at this code. Although if it's all, no, it's all kind of spread out. Okay, let's copy. Actually, I could just do that, right? Copy file contents and just paste it over here. And then we should see the diff, which should align with this, +9 minus 12. That did not seem to work. Why not? Yeah, why not? Copy file contents. This should have invincibility time in here, right? It doesn't. That's weird. Does this not work? Huh, that is weird. What if I open it over here? Does this have it? Yeah, this has it. Strange. It's copying the old contents. Why extra high? I just have it set to extra high. There's a mode even above this called ultra, but I only use that a little bit. And hey, crows. Howdy do. All right, so now we should be invincible shortly after taking a hit. Oh, apparently I never started this. And when I say shortly, I mean very shortly. It's a quarter of a second, but that should be long enough for you to not be stun locked. So if we stand here, yeah, we can then walk over the slime for a second. Might want to make it like 0.3 seconds, maybe. I don't know, actually. Yeah, this isn't bad. As long as if you're trying to get away, so if I get hit and I walk away, I can. But if you move slowly, it won't actually let you get away, probably. We might need to make it a little bit more. What does marker 2D help you with? Marker 2D is just a node 2D that's just used to indicate where something is. So if I add a marker 2D right now, you can see it's just this little like this thing. And you can make this larger, presumably. I don't know what that does. But that's it. So yeah, it's just a tiny little bit over a node 2D. Size of gizmo cross. This doesn't seem to be affecting the gizmo cross though, right? Huh, strange. Yeah, I don't get that bit. Yeah, because obviously it's supposed to be doing something, but I don't see it increasing the size of it. Maybe if I add a node 2D and make this the scene root. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's a really faint line going in all four directions, and I couldn't see it because when it's aligned with the axes, it's you can't tell there's a difference. Yeah, so this is what it's for. Just to tell you the size of this. Anyway, it's basically just a node 2D. Just happens to show the gizmo differently in the editor. Will it keep pushing you back? It will keep pushing you back, but you have a little bit of invincibility time now. We'll just increase this a tiny bit. There, 20% more. The rest of this should be fine. Easy peasy. Can start hurt animation. It's now change and then start hurt animation. Vector 2, 0. Try take hit. We never call this right now anyway. And where is start hurt animation anyway? 244. These are very different. Okay. All right, looks good. Add iframes after being hit. So for debugging, maybe. Yeah, so the thing that I want to use them for is we have this slime scene. Actually, let's just do it this way. We have this slime here, and you can see on the right side, it says patrol point A and B. We can't tell where these are right now. So I want these to be markers, so we could literally just place like patrol from here to here, for example. I spend 0 time on any of my projects. Why don't they look this good? Well, to make a project look good just from a standalone graphics, like you can just go get assets. I think that's, step number 1. Then yeah, step number 2 is make a game. But at least in terms of just, if you just buy some of these assets, it's like, imagine getting this. And then there, you don't have to make any artwork now. Yeah, have you tried asking AI to punch it up? Did I have it implement this? Is it already done? Wow. This is great when you don't even remember that you clicked a button. Oh, man. All right, let's go pull this in. So room 1 is still going to have the same changes that we had from before. I want to cut these out. Well, I do want to save these eventually. So now we roll this back and then go over to here. ... Get status. Get commit dash AM. Doesn't matter. Pull this in. And now when we go into the scene, we should be able to see the patrol point, right? Yeah, nice. There it is. All right, easy. And if I save this, yeah, I deleted the color from there. That's fine. Yep. So this is totally fine. And this is fine too. All right, let's try it in the game. Hey, Goose. How's your Monday going, Goose? So it is patrolling just like it did before. I probably shouldn't have killed it. I don't know why I just did that. I want to see if it would loop. Yeah, it's looping just fine. Force of habit from playing years of video games. You see a slime, you kill it. All right, so make slime patrol points visual. They used to just be vector 2s. Now they're marker 2Ds. Yeah, mine's going great. We made a lot of progress today. Now we're just trying to come up with a Zelda-ification of the game. All right, so room 1, starter room. Not much danger, maybe an enemy or two. No puzzles. Staircase to the next floor. Add some coins. Okay, let's go do all that stuff. Oh, you know what? Let's go change slimes here. I have something in the cleanup code. Where is that? Ah, here it is, cleanup. Slime should probably render directly in editor. Yeah, so right now we have the sprite frames being created through this, I believe. Get sprite frames. Create sprite frames. This calls add animation for all this stuff. Yeah, I'll convert all this. And by I'll convert it, I mean AI will convert it. So new work tree off Dungeon Racer. Why do I have changes? Translations. It thinks that changed. Maybe we just check this in. I don't know why this is happening. Yeah. Update translation submodule. All right, so now it should not detect changes anymore. Good. Okay, so I want slime.tscn to contain the sprite frames that are currently set up through slime.cs. This way I can see the slimes directly in the editor. Hey Grim, how do you feel about trying to train leak code questions versus today's market reality? When you say train leak code questions, you mean like study them, as in get better at leak code? Or do you mean train an LLM to do leak code questions? Because I imagine LLMs can already do leak code questions pretty well. But using, maybe you're saying like, would you use AI to help you? In which case, yeah, I think that would probably work pretty well. Trained algorithm questions? Yeah. So you're talking about studying. Yeah. Or maybe you're not talking about AI at all. I'm not totally sure what your question is, Grim. Yeah, I don't know if I even touched on it or not. But anyway, to answer what might be your questions, like studying leak code is kind of the same as before. Using AI to help study, I think sounds like a good idea to me. You just need to make sure you're using it correctly. Oh, all right. Yeah, take care, Grim. Hope your daughter's okay. Yeah. I can name the sprite frames are currently set up. This way I can see them directly in the editor. Yeah, there shouldn't be much to plan or do here. Yeah. So I'll just have it do it. All right, so this is what we're having to work on now. And coin, what was the problem with coin? Oh, yeah. All right, we should probably fix that too. Okay. Well, there's some grunt work to get through. All right, so let's go make a new conversation off of Dungeon Racer. Opening coin.tscn causes it to spew all the animation data into the scene file. We should just have it there to begin with rather than making the sprite frames through code. All right, good. All right, so then we can do this phase that I wanted to do, just have a starter room. Now we do have other enemies, and I haven't added those. Where are they? Skeletons and zombies. And what's the difference between the skeletons? Oh, just colors? Yeah, just colors. Okay, well that's fine. And then zombies, I'm assuming the same thing. We have zombie portraits. Oh, that's very funny. All right. Well, maybe we'll use that at some point. Oh, yeah, adding dust while you're running. We probably have that in the main pack, right? Do we have dust? Dust. Yeah, I should put this in the polish section. Add dust when you're running. Okay. I'll write this down. We even have zombie portraits. So maybe you should be able to talk to a zombie or a skeleton. I'm assuming we have skeleton portraits too. Why would they just give you zombie ones, right? Skeleton. No, there is no skeleton portrait. And there's no slime portrait. They just have zombie portraits for some reason. I mean, it can't be that hard to draw a slime portrait, right? Huh. Funny. Yeah, funny. Okay. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah. Also, we have the knights and stuff. And the fire zone. I should probably write that down. Because I spent money on this stuff. I should look through the other asset packs that I purchased and add more zones based on, or add more content based on those. So, for example, the Night expansion pack. Let's go take a look at this. Tar. This to /knights. Make der knights. Whoops. Okay. Let's go take a look at that. With shield, no shield. Oh, they have portraits for these. That's cool. No arms. Oh, yeah, I remember they had those. And Pixel Planes version. Still so bizarre to me. All right, so with shield, they got what? 7 of these? Dark blue. Interesting. Very interesting. They have a block animation? What is this even? How is that different from the idle animation? I guess they're holding their shield slightly differently. Not significantly differently. I don't really know why I'd use this one, but thankfully we don't need to change any artwork. If we do use it, we can just plop it in, unlike with the player animations. Yeah, this is fine. All right, well, anyway. The other thing I did not figure out is you get a bomb. How do you use the bomb? Maybe you can use them anywhere. Yeah, I gotta think of that. Maybe you can press the button to use bombs anywhere. Maybe you keep getting a single bomb from a treasure chest and have to use it on the cracked wall. I want to make sure that there's some weight to bombing the wall. For example, I don't want the player to stand on the bomb, get hit, have the floor fall, and then immediately change modes. I want it to work up to that somehow. Yeah, maybe some screen shaking or something. All right, well, are both these things done? They are. Yeah, so the slime scene has changed completely now. Let's go take a look. Yeah, what is this doing? Why does it say new commits? I don't understand it. Is there a way to see what it thinks changed? It's just going to point at a different commit hash, right? Yeah, it will. But why? I guess we could go into here and find out. Git diff. Nothing. I think this is just when you detach the head. What happens? Hey, Luna. How you doing? Good to see you, too. I always think of Harry Potter when I hear the name Luna, but I like the name Luna. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. I was going to go add these two things. Okay, so git add this. Actually, could I just revert this? Maybe I could check out that. Git status. No. Fine. I'll just manually type these for now. All right, git commit dash m doesn't matter. Sure. All right, so in the slime scene, we should have the new graphics now. Is that even... That's not showing up. Oh, I might need to resave it. Yeah, there we go. Everyone with Luna. I like it, though. Too late now. I'm calling you Luna forever. Hey, Galaxy Inferno. Manual work. Yeah, I should really automate that process. But yeah, this looks a lot better. Now we can tell exactly where the slime is and where it's navigating to. And thanks to these little grabber handles, you can always make sure it moves along this axis. So it looks pretty good to me. So all this stuff is out of here, right? This is strange. No, this makes sense, I guess. Yeah, this is fine. And then we just play an animation based on this. No, something's wrong there. Where do we even use this? Oh, we repurpose what the names used to be. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. So let's go add some more slimes into this scene. So we'll go instantiate another slime. And one final one here. Because we only have 3 colors, right? Blue and green. And we'll put the blue one. Oh, it doesn't affect it in the editor. That's fine. As long as we can see where they are. And then the green one we'll put there. Great. So now when I hit play, we should see red, blue, and green. And they should all spawn in with the right animations. And they should get hurt with the correct animations too. Nice. All right, so green hurt animation. Looking good. Death animation looking good. And blue. The blue one turned red when it got hit. That might actually be correct. But we got to go verify that. Characters, Dungeon Racer, monsters, blue slime. Yeah, it turns red when it gets hit. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Just want to make sure it wasn't supposed to be bright blue or something. But the green one doesn't turn red when it gets hit, right? No, it does. And the red one just turns more red. All right, cool. Honestly, even though just this feels like more like a game already, really. Like how this looks. Yeah, I really like the graphics for this. And I always like showing this off. Not that I had anything to do with this. But if you wait around for long enough, your character takes off her hood and then puts it back on. Yeah. We're making pretty good progress here. Yeah, I'm very happy with this. I don't know. It's been smooth sailing, really. So I added the slimes into this room, but I did not make them. I want to make them kind of like guard the staircase a little bit. I guess we shouldn't worry about that yet. Yeah, let's just keep them there in the room. That's fine. All right, so set up slime animations through the editor. They used to be set up through code, so placing them via the editor wouldn't actually show any sprites. Yeah, so it just created all of these. Now, there's another way we could have done this. Well, this is all done via a tool script, which I'm not super happy about. We still have the tool script, though, don't we? It's no longer a tool script. And this, for some reason, says blue is never used. It's used through the editor, though. Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's go check that in. Then we have another change over here, inlining the coin animation. So let's go copy that. This won't work. Yeah, I don't know why copy path only copies what you see right there and not the entirety of it. All right, so I want to add this and this. And now we go fetch this over to Whoopsie. Whoops. That'll do it. All right, let's go load up coin. So now all of the colors here are right in the editor. Nice. And the whole reason we did that is so we can add some coins into the room. So let's go add some coins in. So I shall put a coin here. And can we just duplicate a bunch of these? Yeah. I am not trying to arrange these super nicely or anything. Just put something here. There. Now in the editor, they're going to be synchronized by but off by half a frame or something because their Y coordinates are different. So it should animate slightly differently. Yeah, that looks really cool. Now we really should have Y sorting on for this. Yeah, we don't. Very neat. Very, very cool. So let's make them all yellow, which I believe is the most expensive one. And that gives us 20, I think. So we should move like noticeably faster if we go through all these. I think we do. It's kind of hard to tell. Sword and Magic RPG. I think it'd be really cool to make a game like A Link to the Past. I don't know how well something like that would do. You know, it's an interesting exercise to take a game that you already like and try to think, how would I improve it or how would I make it my own? And A Link to the Past, I think, was a pretty good formula. It had, a decent storyline. There was stuff that happened. The world felt alive. There were good dungeons, good puzzles, cool items. So you could just add more of that stuff. But the style of Zelda dungeons has changed a lot over the years. And I think Miyamoto himself said something along the lines of dungeons feel claustrophobic and we don't want players to have to do them in the new Zelda games as much. Something like that. And I don't know the exact reasoning behind that philosophy. Would never take inspiration from other games before designing himself. Yeah, no, but I still want to think, what would I do? And also, you got to think like pacing has changed over the years. And I don't know, expectations in general. Like it's sort of reasonable to think that if you were to make a Link to the Past today, you'd probably have like a farming mini game in it. Oh my god. It sounds very goofy to say. Raise your chickens and battle them with other chickens. All right, so same deal here. We now have coins set up through the editor. But is this still a tool script? It is. But not for the sake of setting these things up anymore. So I think this is fine. Set up coins through the editor. They used to be created through code, but since coin.cs is a tool script, that means that anytime you would open coin.tscn, it would spew the contents. It would spew sprite frames to disk anyway. This is why we may as well have them in the scene file to begin with. I also added some coins to the first room. Technically not really part of the commit, but that's okay. Hey Zero, hey Fixable. You make a game with a specific niche, needs to stand out among the other hundreds of thousands of games that get pushed to Steam every day. Yeah, well, I think marketing can help you stand out too. Like some of those games are presumably good and just never really get the eyes on them that they deserve. But still, just assuming you had an audience and, you know, let's say 1 million people were going to play your game, how would you make it as good as possible if you wanted to be like a Link to the Past? And yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Like, I do think, when I think of Zelda or Zelda games, I think it's part puzzle and part like action adventure. They never had experience points. I mean, not really in the mainline series. I know Zelda 2 did. But they never really had experience points. So it was kind of, and they had rupees, but I always feel like the rupee economy in a lot of these games is off. So yeah, I think a lot of games would go the experience route and like you could customize your characters and get skills. And yeah, maybe it's about how you do battle or how you attack. I'm not sure. I do like how the new Zelda games have been treating it like a physics playbox, sandbox. Use AI during your coding projects. What are your opinions? So yeah, I've been using AI a lot more. One of the things I always talk about when it comes to vibe coding is I think everyone defines vibe coding differently. So like my definition of vibe coding is like using AI to code such that you don't read any of the code or possibly even understand it. So it might be something like, go make this feature, and then you commit it, and then go make this feature, and, you know, repeat the cycle. As opposed to go make this feature, and then I review the code, and I'm like, oh, actually, here's how I would have coded it. You should go make it look like that. So anyway, people who vibe code their apps from the get-go, I think if you're making, let's say, a personal tool or site or something along those lines, I think vibe coding is totally fine. I think if you're making a product, anything that needs security, something along those lines, then vibe coding is iffy. I think you need to understand more about what's going on. But hey, all this stuff is changing pretty rapidly. Call it action adventure rather than RPG. Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny too, because RPG just literally means role-playing game. But almost every game by that definition is kind of a role-playing game. You know, like Tetris wouldn't be. You're not playing a role in Tetris. But yeah, Zelda would be. But most people think of RPG at this point of being like, okay, there's experience. There's probably a story. Like experience points, you know, like leveling up. There's probably a story. And yeah, there's probably some kind of like battling that happens. Sell 500,000 copies because of nostalgia. Well, if they actually remaster it, I think it probably would sell 500,000 copies, and I'd probably be one of the people to buy it. I bought A Link Between Worlds, which you could kind of consider to be A Link to the Past remastered. I thought this game was fun. I also like that there was a lot pulled from A Link to the Past. And yeah, this probably sold at least 500,000 copies. I'd be surprised if it didn't sell at least 1 million. There's sales numbers. Oh, wow. 4.26 million. Yeah. Hey, Super Cuber. So vibe coding is essentially coding beyond your skill or experience level. Yeah, I'd probably say it that way. Yeah. Hey, Mert. You ever try to make a game with vibe coding? You'll see it's painful. Yeah, I've heard this. Here's how I kind of look at this. There's a spectrum of how like deep into AI you get, I guess. And on one end of the spectrum is like you don't touch any code. And on the other end of the spectrum is you don't use any AI. So it's like fully manual and fully automated. And I think at least as of the last year, fully automating things is probably not a great experience. But who knows? Maybe it gets there someday. They could literally do nothing but upscale random textures. Yeah, I think it would. Also, I don't even think they need to remaster anything. I mean, they like made the virtual console and whatever they call the Nintendo Switch Online experience. Like people still are probably signed up just to play those games sometimes. Games that focus on player freedom and expression, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Cyberpunk, those types of games. Well, I think there's also all the like turn-based battle games like Octopath Traveler. Those still fit into RPG for me. And that's why I think if you boil them down, it's more like, yeah, there's a story, there's probably experience points. Yeah, there's probably some battling that goes on. There might be more to it than that. Also, I don't know where you'd consider visual novels to be. I don't think I'd consider those RPGs. But who knows? Emulation isn't always accurate. Yeah, I've heard about that sort of thing too. I think for most gamers, they probably wouldn't care. As long as there's no like game-breaking bugs. Speedrunners obviously care. They rely on certain versions or certain platforms to be able to do all the glitches they need. All right, so this is all done. I'm glad we got that done. And we set up the first room already, right? Yeah, we have some coins and we have some slimes. Now, I probably shouldn't have them be yellow coins. Maybe like red. Maybe there's some different colors. I don't want to have you like run all over the room. I don't really know why I just changed that. Who cares? Let's go set that back to what it was. There. I don't want there to be any changes for this. It apparently still thinks there are changes. Oh, because the frame progress is different. Yeah, just roll that back. I guess that means I should also close this, huh? All right, so room 1 done. Room 2. So we got to come up with a puzzle that's not this one yet. I think this puzzle could be like on floor 3 or something. But yeah, room 2. We need something with switches or something with, I don't know. Just don't have any great ideas. You could kind of do a physics puzzle, like how in the farming game, when you throw the axe, it just floats away from you. We could make it so that there are keys in the room and you have to like walk them into the locks that they correspond to. I don't really think it'd probably be very fun. Another way you could kind of do it is maybe you swing your sword and it sends the key flying. I mean, I don't think that's really fun either. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. I need to come up with something that just makes the player want to like kind of know what to do, but still need to experiment a little bit. I sort of like that idea, actually. Maybe you swing your sword to hit keys into locks. About an asset pack gave me my idea. Failed to use those assets to create a map. I made a map and asked changes on that. Failed to do that. Ask for UI and the UI provides is bad. Huh. Yeah, I haven't really had that experience myself. Maybe with map making it would struggle, but like it made this whole thing on its own And I think this looks good. This is what I wanted. I told it the general parts I wanted, which is like, hey, you should be able to pick the category, and then it'll zoom in on where you're making that modification. And then you have these sliders here for the individual colors. And it works great. So I think sometimes maybe it just needs enough other code to go off of, or I don't know, hard to say. JRPGs, I see. Yeah. Not in 3D. Well, the UI in most 3D games is still 2D, right? Unless it's in world. But yeah, sometimes it's just not great. I think it can still usually help. All right, I keep looking at this sprite sheet. Maybe I'm going about this wrong. Maybe I should think of like there's a signpost and it just tells you what you're supposed to do. Hmm. I think part of the issue is I'm trying to make everything take place on one screen. Like, this is not how old Zelda games worked. You might see this screen and be like, okay, there's a chest, but I don't have a key. So I go into this door and now I fight 6 enemies and I get a key, and then I come back here and I open this. Oh, wait, we gotta add Y sorting. I gotta add this to polish. Especially for coins. I mean, I have a pushing animation, but I was gonna say we could like take these crates and make it so you can push them onto a switch or something. But yeah, the only player animations we have are pretty much the ones that are already in the game. Where are they? We have these. Well, I mean, you could just walk against something and it would push it, right? You don't really need a pushing animation. I was picturing like they're like leaning against it or something, trying to move it with their weight. Also, we probably need to remove the death animation if we never used it. Although, wherever you end up in this game, I have not figured out the ending of this. Yeah, wherever you end up, you might be able to die. Remove the death animation if I didn't use it. Maybe you can die in the final room. Is there a boss? I don't know how this game ends. I never decided what that's supposed to be. Oh, God, I just really want to come up with like an idea here for this. What do gamers think about asset packs? I've seen 2 games that use the exact same one I was using. Do people care at all? I don't know. It's hard to say. There's a game I used to play called Realm of the Mad God, and this asset pack got pretty popular. Like, I use this for one of my games too. And I still have that game here that's playable. And yeah, I have seen people assume that the assets are stolen for other people's games that use asset packs without knowing, oh, that's just how licensing works. And yeah. Yeah. Dating myself with a scavenger hunt. All right, we got to come up with an idea, but I got to take a break first. I really, really want to come up with something that's at least like mildly fun for a couple of rooms, and then we can get to the endless runner part. But for now, is it jump time? It's jump time. They call me the Jump King. All right, close the game. So I gotta go invite Dark back to the translations repo. I'm not sure what happened here. So give me a sec. I gotta do this off screen. Collaborators. Use GitHub Mobile. Verify your identity. Identity verified. Invite expired. Hmm. Hmm. Strange. It doesn't. Can you send invitations again? Okay, hold on. It says once canceled, they'll no longer be able to access the repo, but it also says invite expired, which already means that they can't access the repo, right? I'm just going to invite them again. Whatever. All right, add people. Done and done. Okay, now I just got to send them a message. Done. I also re-invited. Okay, we're done with that. I can get back to work on screen. Yeah, so where we left off is trying to come up with what in the world we're doing for these rooms. Hmm. They don't have to be puzzles, I guess. They could just be a room that looks like this that you just like you walk through. And if you want, you can go break the vases open. Maybe okay, how about this? What if we had a puzzle where there are some vases in the room and one of them is hiding a switch and you press the switch and it opens the door. Yeah. Something like that could be pretty simple. We just need to make this seem like a Zelda game. So yeah, there are a bunch of vases in a room. You slash them to reveal, or you like break them. One of them is covering a switch, which you stand on to lower the door. Bomb a wall. Try to bomb a wall. Cannot bomb a wall. Yeah, I like that. What else can we do? I was thinking we could do something where water is not flowing and then you kind of create it and it fills up the room and that does something. But I don't want to get too tricky with this. If we have a more obvious, straightforward, I don't know, puzzle or something we can do, that'd probably be best. Hmm. All right, so something with levers, I guess. What if it was just like press both levers in the room and it raises these pillars up? Where are their preview things that they had here? Actually, another thing that we have is the lava world. We could have you go into something like this, but I don't think there's anything more here, is there? They have a little portal looking thing. But yeah, that's kind of it. And then the other pack that they have, the night one, this had more tiles in it, right? They have green water there or slime. That might not be part of that tile set though. It might be part of the existing one that I have and I just didn't see it. I definitely don't see it here. Doesn't mean it's part of the other one. It is not part of this. Although green slime is here. Huh, where that comes from. Hmm, I don't see it. I mean, oh, waterfalls. Here we go. Yeah, there it is. These look like banners to me. But yeah, there's no sword handed to you. No. I feel like there's got to be something with opening treasure chests. So that could be an endless runner part of the game. Maybe you collect keys as you're going through the rooms and you open the treasure chest and they spew out a bunch of coins. Okay, what we could do is like there are a bunch of enemies in a room and you have to kill them all, and that's how you get a switch or something. I don't know. The other thing I was thinking, I really like this idea that I had for a different game, which was turned into like Super Smash Bros, where the more damage you take, the farther you go flying, and the arenas are shaped like this, so you get knocked off eventually. And that's how this game could work. Like you get knocked back a little bit when you have some coins, but you get knocked back a lot when you have almost no coins, and you eventually just get pushed off the edge. We could do that, but that would take the idea from the other game. Idea could turn some part of this into a Smash-like mechanic where you go flying farther if you have fewer coins. Then have you fight a boss in a small arena. Or like an arena with no edges. Or there are edges, but you go flying and bounce off the walls. Corey's amount of gold coins he was carrying. Greed is literally weighing the hero down. All right, so we have two ideas I like, and I just need a third one. Maybe you just need to kill all of the enemies in a room to reveal a lever or open a door. We need to add another enemy in eventually. I haven't done that yet. I don't really want to do that yet. Maybe we do something with spike traps because they're eventually going to be important in the game. And it's just about like dodging through the traps. Yeah, okay, that can work. I like that idea. There are spike traps that you have to avoid. This would also teach you about other spike traps in the game. All right, let's get to building some of these. So vases in the room and you can break them. Let's go find out where the vases are. Da, 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 da. Where are the vases? There's a vase, but not the breaking animations. Is that break update? Here it is. Yeah, so we got to find exploiting. What? Where's just breaking a vase? Here? Apparently. No particles. I don't understand what exploiting is supposed to mean here. It looks like this was blown up by a bomb, right? It doesn't look like you just slash this with your sword. Oh, we don't need to get crazy with this. Yeah, we don't need to get crazy with this. So I think we can have this. Should they all shine or just the one you're supposed to break? I think having them shine is cool. They have a picture of it here. Where'd that picture go? Yeah, here. You can see them shining. I think that looks cool. Yeah, I think that looks cool. All right, so let's use that. Base 1 shine and then base 1 break with the particles. There's also a hit graphic. Yeah, I like this. And then what is hit? Does it wiggle? I don't think we need that. Yeah, I think you can just break it with one hit. That's probably good enough. All right, so I want this and I want this. Cool. Let's go plug it in under objects, dungeon racer. All right. Add base graphics. Nothing is using these yet. And now let's get to using them. So I just added base shine, which represents a vase. The vase is probably 32 by 32. Yep. Each frame is 32 by 32. The whole sprite sheet represents a single animation that should play on repeat. Are these all literally the same frame at the end? They probably are. We don't need to have a sprite sheet this big. I'll just keep it for now. It's not worth optimizing this ahead of time. Okay, then we have one other sprite sheet, vase 1 break. Add vase.tscn to the dungeon runner. Represents the idle animation of the vase. Each frame is 32 by 32, the whole sprite sheet. The animation should play on repeat. Cool. And then the next thing is the break. Represents the animation that should play after you hit the vase with your sword. At the end of that animation, the vase should fade out and then be Q freed. All right, what else do we need to do? Vases should be static objects that prevent the player from, or enemies from moving through them. Is that it? I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's more to a vase than that, is there? It's an object that blocks your collision. The sword can hit it. It causes it to break. And it stops blocking your collision maybe once it's fading out. After the vase has been broken, it should remove its collision Or I guess it's like once the vase starts fading out, it should remove its collision. Meaning the player can walk through it while it's still partially visible. Yeah, cool. Okay. All right, what else? Anything else? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so we have vases, and you can break them. Easy. Okay, let's have a plan that. And then the next thing we need are these spike traps. So let's go ahead and spike traps. Where do those come from? La di da di da. All right, there are some spikes, I think, but I don't see where the. Oh, there are more spikes. Oh God, what do we need? Oh, I see. You just overlay them on top of the ground. That's actually probably perfect then. Why do we have so many variations of this? Over spikes that go up in lines, maybe, and then go down in lines? They don't do it with left and right, though. They just do it with top and bottom. Maybe that's what the other set was for. No, this is literally just the same thing as the other one. Just the top row. All right, too many tabs open. Get rid of them. I don't need them to go from side to side, I think, but I thought they had spikes that did that. What is this? Sparks? Maybe for the buzz saws? Yeah, I don't see them. Let me look at the pictures again. Here they look like they're going from side to side, right? How do they accomplish that? They don't have any graphics that just have one column filled in. I mean, I know I can slice these arbitrarily, so I could make that happen. But yeah, I don't know if... Am I making this up? No, they don't ever do it that way anyway. Okay, I see. All right, then we can make them work that way too. Sure. So like lines of spike traps. I think this will be harder to tell AI how to do this. Hmm. There is no graphic that has tall spikes on both rows. I guess you don't really need that, do you? They pretty much always are supposed to be animated like this, I think. Are these even different? No, it's the same it's the same graphics on both rows. Oh man. Yeah, this one just cuts out with a bunch of blank spaces. Not totally sure why they duplicated these. And then the last thing we can check is in the all tiles graphics here. Do we have anything else? We probably don't. I don't even see the spikes. There they are. Yeah, no, no other spikes. Back to normality for another 4 years. There's always next time. So we could have proximity spikes that are based on you getting close to them. We could have spikes that are just on a timer. Spikes on a timer, spikes based on proximity. And it could be like individual spikes are based on proximity, or the whole group triggers when you get near it. I don't know what we want to do here. I was thinking that, yeah, the room could look something like this. There could be some spikes, some vases, whatever, leading to a staircase. And you just need to avoid the spikes. I think having them be on a timer is probably okay. We just go with the simplest possible thing. And they need to be offset a little bit, I guess. Maybe they're inside a group and we tell them which direction to animate. I'm actually kind of curious. What if we just pointed it at this picture and said, hey, make spikes work like this given the sprite sheets that I have? It'd be kind of cool if I could just be less specific about this. Yeah, I kind of want to try that. All right, well, anyway, we need to start doing something here. So set 3.4 is what we want. Set 3.4. I guess we call it an object. Add spike graphics. All right. I want to add spike traps to the dungeon runner subgame. All right, so can you paste in GIFs? I don't know if you can. And I think I just want them to be timed. And I want them to spawn like they do here, probably, where they're in a line like that. So the way I'm thinking about this, if I were to implement this myself, is we have a group of spikes, or maybe we just detect them automatically from which spikes are contiguous. And we designate one of them, doesn't matter which one, to be the starter spike. So it starts its animation and then waits like a tenth of a second, and then the next one does, and then the next one does, and then the next one does, and so on. And they loop on a timer. It wouldn't be that hard to do. But this would involve us putting them into a spike group. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Okay, let's do that. The graphics are in 3.4. So this is 16 by 16. Yep. Each frame is 16 by 16. The top row and bottom row are identical except for the blank spaces at the end of the top row. Delays the first sprite from popping, then the loop just loops. Then they don't have to be in a group. You can just author it. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. But in order to figure out the delay, you need them to be in a group. Otherwise, you're setting the delay on each individual spike trap, I guess, which is another way you could do it. But I was thinking it would just be automatic. Yeah, maybe it's just simpler to just give them a delay. Okay, so each make a spike trap. I want this to be something you can just paint in with the tile map. And there's tiled scene collection, this thing. Tile set scene collection source. Yeah, I think this is what we need to do. That I can paint in like though it's just a regular tile in a tile map layer, which I believe means it needs to be a tile set scene collection source, but verify that. All right, it should have a configurable delay that I can set. Can we do that? We must be able to do that. So I can make groups of traps trigger in a line. I guess it should also have a configurable direction that the animation should play in. Also have a configurable direction that the spikes... I mean, it's either... No, let's not even do that. And maybe we should say just use the bottom row. Use the entire bottom row as an animation for the animation and ignore the top row. When the player is in contact with the spikes, they should get hurt. The spikes are only active on the third frame through the, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, through the 8th frame inclusive. And if we want to be specific, we could have 2 collision boxes or change the size of the collision box. On the third frame, though, they're only active in the upper half of the sprite. And on the 8th frame, they're only active on the lower half of the sprite. Trigger in a line, and then the animation should play on repeat. All right, I think that's good. Make a spike trap that I can paint as though it's just a regular tile and tile map layer. It should have a configurable delay that I can set so that I can make groups of traps look like they trigger in a line. The animation should play on repeat. When the player's in contact with the spikes, they should get hurt. The player should get hurt. Spikes are only active on the 3rd frame through the 8th frame. Can only damage the player on the 3rd, yeah. Or maybe the spikes are only visible. Yeah, I'll say present. All right, that's probably pretty good. Let's plan that. And then our other chain should be done. Whoops, did not mean to click that. Add a vase. Add reusable vase.tscn and vase.cs files without changing room layouts. Give the vase looping idle animation, sword triggered break animation, delayed collision removal, fade out, and cleanup. Make current slime patrol movement physics aware, so vases genuinely block enemies as well as players. We don't really need to do that with slimes because you can't move vases. So yeah, I'll just say we don't need to change slime behavior. We can just assume that I'll never place a vase in the way of a slime's path. Yeah. Build vase around a static body 2D with nearest neighbor animated sprite 2D, 14 by 15 collision shape, sword detection area 2D. Configure all 16 frames. Sounds good. Yep. Implement one shot, try, take, sword hit Keep the vase solid throughout the break animation. When that finishes, disable body and sword hit collision. No slimes bouncing off of vases. No, we're getting stuck in a vase. Make sure the sword doesn't make contact with an already broken vase. Game-specific collision layers. Add that layer to the player's collision mask. Generalize players per attack, hit tracking, and dispatch. So one swing can independently hit slimes and vases, while each target is processed at most once per attack. This can be done with a property on the vase, as opposed to by tracking which vases the sword hit. In fact, we can probably just disable the layer that the sword would check. Generalize players per attack, hit tracking, and dispatch, so one swing can independently hit this. I already looked at that. Convert slime from position teleported node 2D movement to character 2D on the enemy layer. Preserve its current patrol endpoints and damage life cycle, but with collision and reverse direction when a vase blocks its path. Honestly, actually, that's probably fine. Really, that's not too bad. It's just extra code for no real reason. But why not have vases block slimes? In fact, maybe there's a puzzle around this. Maybe you have to destroy just the vases that are blocking a slime from pressing a switch or something. You have to time it so they all hit the switch at the same time. But yeah, I think I'm going to do it this way. Also, what are we at in terms of AI usage? 41%. Man, even when I'm like trying to burn through AI, it's not the easiest thing. Like I'm using it pretty extensively. My gauge here is that this is now based on weekly quota. So we've gone through 24% today. It used to be that I had a 5-hour limit, and that represented roughly 14% of the weekly quota. So in a given day, you might expect to use about 25, 28, 30%, something like that of your quota. And yeah, we've used 24%. And I'll probably stream for another hour or so, and we'll use another like 8% or something. So 32%, that means you get like 3 work days at this capacity. And that's roughly what I'm doing. You don't have auto mode on. Can't just let it run amok. All right, so here's the new plan. Body collision shape. Yep. Face is broken. First hit sets it to true. Remove sword target area. Subsequent calls return without effect. Yep. Extend the players. The face branch. Keep slimes hit. Okay, cool. Implement this plan. Hey, Vibo. How goes burning OpenAI servers? It's going pretty well. Yeah, I'll show you some of the work we've done so far. Hey, J-Hacks. How much of the project so far is AI versus manual coding? So I kind of ramped up to... I've been working on this now for how long, actually? I think it was like mid-April or something. No, I started the game design on March 30th. So it's been 3.5 months. I've been using AI for probably, like, more extensively for probably like 2 of those months. So it's probably like more than half AI coded at this point, because AI has been producing more than I would produce. Hey, Skoroba. What game am I making? I'm making a game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. I was just about to show this off. Let's say reset limits again. Yeah. So this is, I'll just start at the beginning. Let's go to the title screen. So yeah, this is the game we're making. Like I said, it's 3.5 months and into probably what is a 2-year-long game cycle. So like I haven't even worked on the title screen too much, although it is functional. We can do some things on here. But yeah, if I start, we go to the character customization. I'll just change the hair to like green or whatever here just to show you that something changes. And this is your first broken tutorial that you're stuck in. So the usual, looks like a platformer, right? Double jump. You can dash in the air. It teaches you about this right over here. But when we make it over to here, try to collect the diamonds in one go. You cannot do this. And this is the first experience you have of like how broken these games are. So you are slowly making your way through these game worlds and discovering like what is going on here. How do you get out of these games? In this particular case, you work your way over to this door and you get banished. And where should you end up but another broken tutorial? So yeah, you progress through the game this way. You're going from like game to game. There's some stuff going on here. A lot of this is like, we're just trying to subvert your expectations. So this is a farming game. You can plant seeds, you can water them. There are a surprising number of mechanics for things that don't actually have any impact. Is watering not working? I don't think it is. Huh. I wonder when that broke. It's not printing anything. Yeah, that's bizarre. Yeah, I don't know when that broke. Oh, I think I know what's doing it. It's probably Y sorting. Okay, I should look into that. Anyway, you will keep working your way through these games, and the newest one that we were working on has been this Dungeon Racer game. This is supposed to be kind of like a Zelda game. You can swing your sword. I didn't make music for this yet, and I haven't added sound effects. But yeah, you will eventually get a bomb, and you'll find a cracked wall, and you'll put the bomb against the wall, and you'll blow up the entire dungeon. So now the floor is going to start falling away, and you'll have nowhere to run. The staircase won't be there. So you'll fall down, and the game will change completely into being like an endless runner style game. So that's what the coins will be for. You'll move faster and faster and faster to the point where you're like zipping through the dungeon over here. And yeah, just, fighting enemies on your way and dodging obstacles and stuff. And I don't know what will happen at the end yet. I only started working on this on Monday, so I haven't figured that out. But it's coming along pretty well. Games in the bin. Got to keep that start menu. So yeah, the bug we found is that you can't water in the farming game. Bug watering in the farming game no longer shows that you've watered anything. I assume this is due to Y sorting. All right, let's go back to this. Have either of these done anything? No. All right, well, can I just go fix that now? How hard would that be? Environment before dream. Where's the watering layer? Do we add a new one in? Is that why? Water layer. Where do we get this? New layer. Yeah, wow, that's a problem. Okay, my bad. Yep. All right. Yes, it is. This is the faulty code here. I just make a new layer without setting a Y sort origin on it. I'm guessing this is like dead simple to fix though, right? I just do Y sort origin equals -99 and we're done. Let's go try that out. Do I do test-driven development? No, we don't have any automated tests really. And it's kind of tricky because a lot of times you need to run the game engine for those. So I do want to look into this during the next stabilization phase, which should be in August, but we might not get time for that. Anyway, let's go back to the farming game here. And let's do free play. And let's just try watering something. So that did not fix it. The Y sort origin on everything else is set to -99 though, right? Y sort origin there is 0, but the ground layer should be -99, yeah. Strange. What am I missing? We move it just above the ground layer. Like I'm assuming we're still Yeah, since there's no error, I'm assuming everything here is fine. Yeah, strange. Strange. There might be some other property we need to set. I guess let's just put a breakpoint here and let's go find out. I need to restart this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so water layer. Is there a way to serialize this somehow? I guess I can just copy paste the whole thing. Already is pretty much serialized. All right, so this is the water layer. And then the other layer they want to check it against is the ground layer. All right. Could put a curly brace there, I guess. Yeah, so this is ground. So let's just compare water against ground. And what is different? The name, the instance, the native pointer, that's all fine. Owner is different, that's fine. Self-modulates different, that's okay. Texture filter, parent node on that. That probably should be nearest over here. But that doesn't matter too much. We don't have data yet. Why sort enabled is false? There's the problem. Didn't realize I had to turn that on. All right, easy peasy. And then what was the last thing I said? The texture filter is nearest? Yeah, texture filter equals nearest. Oh, it hasn't been set yet. This is the line that was going to do it. And I guess we could also set the self-modulate here while we're at it. All right. Now I expect everything to be fixed. It might have actually even fixed it without us needing to restart. Oh, nice. It did. Look at that. Yeah. Now we can water again. Oops. Watered the house. At least it looked like I did. Apparently I did not. Yeah, now before anyone says, oh, AI messed up, this was just me manually making these changes earlier and I just never verified it. Yeah, it's good. Good thing I preempted you. Now, because this is a broken tutorial, you can also just dig up your house if you want to, including the walls. And if you dig out the bottom, you can walk out your newly formed door. Fun. All right, so fixed bug in farming game. I wasn't enabling Y sorting on the watering layer, so you couldn't see any change when watering tiles. Pebcac indeed. Hey, Greggle. It's definitely a feature if you ask me. Oh yeah, no, I mean that's part of the point of this game. Like, you are in broken tutorials, so that's not even the most broken part. The other things that we have here, this is one of my favorites, is in town you can dig up entire houses. And not the community center. That's important. That's load bearing for the plot. But yeah, you can just dig your way through the entire terrain. And then the other thing I really, really like about this is if you switch to the axe and try using it on a tree, you actually just throw it and gain the ability to run. And now you can move even faster and your axe will just float there on the ground and you can never catch it again. Because this is not your typical farming game. So I think little touches like that, I'm hoping people discover them and they're just like, wow, that's great. And some people will just never try it, and that's also okay. Hey, Mohammed. All right. So let's go take a look at this. Create a reusable animated spike trap scene, expose it through the existing Dungeon Racer tile set, confirmed as the correct Godot mechanism. Sounds totally great. C# script UID sidecar, use all 16 frames, looping at 8 FPS. Export non-negative delay seconds, provide 16 named paintable phase variants. What? Named paintable phase variants? I mean, I think I'll just manually change it. You know what? Fine. Let's just let it do this. I could always change it myself afterward. All right, add those variants to a new whatever. Convert the existing empty trap node in base room into dedicated tile map layer using that tile set without pre-painting traps in any room. Synchronize damage area with the animation. Sounds good. While an active region overlaps this, call the existing try take hit. Preserves the current hurt animation and invincibility. Removes 20 coins. Applies no knockback. Perfect. Keep existing falling floor implementation unchanged. Oh, right. So these traps will need to fall. Maybe it'll just work. I should probably test that out. So we're on add spike traps. And what was the other thing I was doing? Add vases. Make sure these fall with the dungeon when the dungeon falls, when the floor falls. How'd you make the dialogue? Did you use Dialogue Manager add-on? The dialogue in the farming game, the bulk of that came from this yarn spinner library, and then the UI is from an asset pack I got on itch. So it was relatively straightforward. I wrote a whole bunch of notes on this process. Yarn, why is this not working? Yarn spinner. Yeah, I wrote a whole bunch of notes on it here if you want to take a look at those. And yeah, I've got some code snippets, some helpful links. What was I doing? Oh yeah, reviewing the rest of this plan. Oh, they don't expose arbitrary exported properties per place cell. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, go implement that. And now for vases. Oh, it's done. Well, 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 let's go check it out. I don't already have this here. No. Okay, cz dot 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 status. Why does it keep modifying translations? All right, git add. Can I do scenes and source like that? Because if so, that's not too bad at all. Yeah, all right, that's good. All right, now git commit -m doesn't matter. Go pull this in. And we get to try it out. Let's go add a vase to our scene. Vase.tscn, and we put it in, let's say, room 1. All right, you ready? Vase. Put that there. And maybe duplicate it a few times. Put one there and put one there. Now we hit play. Yeah, sure thing, engage. And they should be obstacles for us. I don't remember if we said they should be obstacles for slimes. They are for us, but they're a little bit wide. It's not really a big problem. But we can pull that in a little bit. And if you slash them. Yeah, perfect. This is looking great. Wow. Yeah, everything's coming together. All right, I intentionally made it stop the player when you swing your sword, which does kind of make it a little bit hard to hit because the collision box is not huge. But yeah, this is looking good. All right, there was a problem though, and it was the collision area. So let's go take a look at that. Oh, huh. Doesn't really look like there's a problem here. I guess we should just shrink this maybe. I'm shrinking two things. This should be made unique. Yeah, so the body should only go up to that. Why I was off by horizontal pixels though here. Yeah, like this. I guess because I don't even really need to fix this, but yeah, so now we can walk slightly behind them. It looks like we're on top because I haven't put Y sorting in yet. Also, I will say, I think this is shining a little too much. I think it should be a once in a while kind of thing. So let's set this frame to be duration 5. So now it's going to wait a little over half a second. Maybe even a little less frequently than that. Duration 16. Now it'll wait 2 seconds. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, the sparks always appear in the same spot regardless of where you hit it. So if you're hitting it from the left, it looks great. If you're hitting it from the right, I guess it always kind of looks fine. I don't want to be too nitpicky about it anyway. Oop. Yeah, this is great. All right, let's review. Current action is attack. Okay, great. We just returned there. And then case slime when slime hit this attack dot add. Neat. All right, so frame progress changing. I definitely don't want to check in. This is annoying because this is always going to try to change on me. And it's probably not worth fighting. I should probably just commit this stuff. But if I just click these buttons, they go away. Good old easy revert. So we added 3 vases. Yeah, nice. Now vase itself is here. Is broken is never needed outside of this? Why? On animation finish. Try take sword hit. Okay, yeah. Let's make this private then. Private. Delete this. Rename it to is broken. Delete this. Where'd that go? Why don't I see it? Oh, there it is. Rest of this looks good. Cool. Yep. Looks good too. This actually isn't really needed. Yeah, this isn't really needed. We could turn that off. Yeah, we could turn that off. I also don't really care though. Disable collision, fade out. Yeah, wow, this is fantastic. Just wonderfully done. So I see disable collision here. Where is that called? On animation finish for this. This is disabling a collision for the player. Yeah, so whoops. This allows the player to move through where the vase is fading out. Yeah, I think that's fine. And the vase scene we already looked at, and that's everything. All right, cool. Add vases. Ooh, I gotta say, this feels fantastic because the amount of effort that would have been to do manually is not insurmountable. I definitely would have done it, but I don't want to do this 600 times, and that's what we have to do for this game. Not the Dungeon Racer game, but the overall Stuck in a Broken tutorial. Like, we're going to end up adding so many different objects and setting collision and doing whatever else, and it's like, I didn't have to draw these rectangles. Like, even just setting up this scene is still something you have to, like, you know, you're adding however many different things here, this, and a sprite, and then you think, okay, well, we need an area 2D, but then we need a collision shape underneath that, and then this put it in the wrong spots. You got to move this, and it's like, I don't even have to do that anymore. It just works. All right, so vases are done. Spike traps, we're working on them. We are now at 34% usage. So we did use a little bit more than I thought we would. Now, like I said, we have a reset that's going to expire in 2 days. So we're really at 134%. And I don't know what the likelihood of me using that in the next, you know, it's what, 6 days or something would be. All right, so this is done. This is done. This is done. Let's fill out the journal. I'm going to take a break pretty soon. Fun tasks day. I worked on the Dungeon Racer and made a ton of progress. The main focus was on Zelda-ifying the first part of the game rather than working on the endless part. Now, I say endless, but one of the questions we got to ask on Friday is, how does it end? Question before starting. How is the endless part supposed to end? A boss, an NPC? Maybe there's a segment where you take a portal or something? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna answer that today though. me have AI work on my parallelized build system. I have too much quota. All right, we almost done over here. Step 4 out of 4, just verifying. It's probably done. We could actually go check it out now. Well, I should just take my break probably. Copy this. Godot path game. Oh, wait, no, it never added spikes anywhere, so we can't test it this way. Because it might have added spikes in the back end, but not in the game. All right, well, then I guess it's break time. This is still running too, so hopefully it takes another 2 minutes or something. All right, is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. Are you daring to challenge the Jump King? Second place. I believe that makes you Jump Prince at best. All right, close the game. Good job, ABC. You show the Jump King. All right, this must have finished by now, right? Wow, it didn't. I'm kind of surprised about that. I think the reason, like, it's probably done with the code. Everything's probably working fine, although who knows? I'm not going to read all of this stuff. I'll just look at the final code. but like in testing it, it's got to inject its own GD script files, which actually it has not been asking me about, which means that modifying the regular agents.md was probably the way to do this. I should write this over here. Note, when I tried this in mid 2026, July, it didn't work and I needed to modify my project level agents.md, not my user specific agents.md. Maybe I should put this here. And maybe I should make it a call out. Warning. Warning. There. Okay. All right. So this is done. We should be able to go pull this in and try it out. Reveal. I already have this open here. Get status. Get add. Game scenes, game source, commit -m, cherry pick it over to here. Oh my God, I added a whole bunch of different scenes. All right, well, let's try it. Room 1, trap node. Where be the traps? There's some way you're supposed to find these. I don't know what I'm doing. Unless it's a terrain? No. All right, I gotta figure this out again. Well, the editable float doesn't exist in Godot, that's why. Otherwise, yes, it would have been nice. You can't use it for tile, whatever this is called, scene selection, scene collection, source. No. Specifically for this, because this is part of a tile map. So tile map doesn't expose the same controls. But I don't remember exactly how this is supposed to work. We used this for Skeleseller at one point. And I think we just had a section of the tile map where you could click and then put like apple trees in or something. So I got to go pull this up and find out. Because, yeah, I don't remember this. All right, environment, here it is. So I think trees were part of this. And we see them there. Which layer is that on? I mean, this has the visual, but it doesn't have the collision box from that. Where might you be? It's one of these, I think. I don't know how you detect this. Hey, noob. How you doing? Yeah, I don't know how you do this. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. Harvestables. Ah, it shows up in the scene right here. Okay, so I'm supposed to add it somehow as a scene directly to this. How do you do that? Like so. Add scene collection. Okay, now what do I do? Drag and drop scenes here. Okay. Spike trap. So I just put this here and then just start painting it in. If so, I got to write notes about this because I will never remember this. Spike trap. Wow. Yeah, I think that's it. That's easy. That is it. But I might need to add all of them in, which might be a little annoying. Hey, look at that. Hey, cool, it works. It doesn't make us get pushed back though. Oh, we're like really slowing down now. Oh my god. Look at how slowly the character moves. So if I get hit once more, I think we're at the minimum possible speed. Yeah. Oh, this is painful. Maybe we should make some baseline amount of speed come back. I mean, I guess I can just pick up the coins. Okay, now we're moving again. Yeah, there we go. All right, so yeah, this is working. It should push you out of it. Maybe it shouldn't push you out of it. Maybe this is fine. Yeah, wow, it just really slows you down. Yeah, this should be the default walking speed in every game. Easy 10-hour playtime right there. Now look at this thrilling gameplay. Like, will I make it to the staircase? I did. But you didn't know that. Not until I finally made it there. So yeah, anyway, if you go too slowly, you won't be able to outrun this. I guess one more hit and I probably won't be able to. No, I still can. One more hit. Still can. Now I probably cannot. No, I still can't. Wait a sec. Can you even slow down enough to the point where you can't outrun it? Let's just take a bunch of hits there. All right, so now we move to the right. Oh yeah, no, we're too slow now. Oh, and your speed doesn't change when you enter this. It only changes when you die from here. Now I move to normal speed again. See ya. I'll just attack the falling floor. God, can you imagine if that's what you had to do in this game? Falling floor is the boss. Wouldn't put it past me. All right, I want to write about this. Tile map layer. Okay, see, this is a way of painting scenes directly onto the tile map. Is that what they say here? Automatically instantiate an associated scene. Yeah. They occupy actual tile slots. The scenes occupy tile slots. They're slightly less configurable than standalone scenes. So yeah, this is our problem, right? We just have, well, this is the wrong game. Yeah, this. We only have just the scene here. There's nothing you can configure, which is why they added all these other scenes here too. This inherits from the root and just has a delay on it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't love this idea. It almost makes me think we should just paint in scenes. And by the way, Godot added a scene brush, so it would be very, very easy to do. You just click instantiate, put a spike trap in, and then click this button. And there we go. Now we can just paint in spike traps wherever we want. And then we just need to configure a grid so it snaps to the tile coordinates. Problem is, it's not part of the tile map, but that's probably not a big deal. And it would make it so that we don't need like 20 scenes for this. I don't know. I'm torn. But still, I should write down what I did here. So let's go and write the rest of this down. You can't see them in the inspector, so you can't change arbitrary properties. To set them up, select a tile map layer. And then what? Then click tile set. Click tile set to edit its tile set. And then click the plus button to, there's no tooltip for this. Oh, click the plus button and add a scenes collection. And then what? And then drag a scene onto the new collection. And then switch back to tile map view. And then click the scene. And then paint it onto the map. Does that mean an 8-week trip to San Diego? Because that's roughly the amount of time that I'm about to time you out for typing 2 messages so quickly. No exceptions. All right. / purge 1 trillion. Jump king. Yeah, I don't mind mistakes with segmenting. All right, so which way do I prefer doing this? So scenes collection, pros, it's like directly attached to the tile map and automatically, I guess there's that. It automatically snaps to tile map coordinates. Cons, we need, what is this, like 14 scenes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we need like 20 scenes to accommodate the offsets. I think this is such a big con that we don't go this route. Oh man. Weekly travel sounds like it'd be painful. Also, Mountain View is hot. Mountain View weather. Yeah, it's 87 right now. This is nuts. I guess this isn't too bad. But yeah, when I was working at Google, I walked to work from a whatever, if I was staying at like a hotel or something one day, and it was in the morning and I was like sweating when I got there. And I thought, man, this was a mistake. It wasn't a pleasant walk. It was along like not really a highway, but it was along just the street the whole time. You had to wait a really long time for the lights. Okay. It's not the hottest place on earth right now, but that's still pretty hot. Yeah, I think I hate this way of doing things. Yeah. I mean, it does work. It's just really, really tedious, right? Let's paint in another few of these and see how it would work. All right, so put that spike trap there, that one there, that one there, and that one there. And they should all trigger in a line. This only works if you can move fast enough. If you get hit enough, you can't even outrun the spikes. Yeah, now it's impossible. I mean, I could avoid them, but you can't. Well, now I move even slower. Oh, and I get hit twice in one animation. No, that's not good. Oh no, I'm spread across 2 different spikes, right? Yeah, I think I was on 2 different spikes. Oh man, that's brutal. Come back in a sweater. Well, I mean, the AC's on. We're having some people over tonight, and I learned yesterday that if the AC isn't running like in advance from when it gets hot, that it can't really catch up. Hmm. Yeah, I'll check this way in, but I don't like it. And we're going to delete it. So let's get rid of all of these because I don't want any of this stuff here. And what is that doing? That's the one I added in directly. Yeah. All right, well, let's go take a look at this. What are we looking at here? A bunch of frame progress changes. Is that all that changed here? Yeah, just revert the whole thing. So spike trap, this I definitely want to look at. This is the worst. It's just the worst. This code doesn't look too bad. I don't like this idea. Get overlapping bodies. I want to change that. Yeah, I want to change that. The rest of this stuff is fine. And the scene's presumably fine. I don't think there's anything questionable here, right? It's a giant animated sprite. It's got some shapes to cover the collision. Yeah, seems good. Let's just validate it visually over here. So we have upper damage shape, full damage shape, and lower damage shape. We don't need full damage shape. Oh, I see. This is kind of for performance reasons. That's fine. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Definitely good to have that looked at ahead of time because the heat is not over. All right, so I do want to make some changes to this. So one change is stop using the scene collection route. I'd rather just paint in the scenes under a like trap node or whatever. And what was the other thing that we said? I can't remember. Oh, right, the overlapping bodies. Oh my God. Losing my mind over here. All right, so add spike traps or add the, well, add spike traps. I didn't add them to any scenes since I want to refactor some of this. Okay, so I'm just going to start a new thing and we'll work locally here. And I'll do this. In the prior commit, I had codex create spike traps. However, I don't want to use tile set scene collection source anymore. I'd rather just paint in scenes manually. Change, what is that thing called? Trap node back to whatever it used to be. Diff last commit. Back to a node 2D. Delete the delete every scene other than spike trap. Other than spike trap.tscn itself. Yeah, and then the stop using get overlapping bodies I could do separately. Overlapping bodies. So the thing about get overlapping bodies is I found it to be pretty expensive in Skeleseller. Now, granted, I have not tested it in this game, but what this is doing is a couple things. One, it's making a native call to Godot, the engine, and then it's wrapping the result in a new collection. So calling this every single frame is allocating a new array every single frame, and those need to get cleaned up at some point, as opposed to detect when the player enters, keep track that they've entered, and then mark that false once they're out of it. And now instead of this whole code would just change to if player is touching the spikes or whatever. Oh, I see. Gotcha. My bad. I was trying to think Claude is when making a game. So I'm using Codex. I was using Claude before this, and I thought it was pretty good. I think Godot lends itself pretty well to using AI because the scene files are all just human readable. They're not the easiest to read, but like once you've seen these enough, you kind of know what you're looking at here. So here's a bunch of textures, and this must be for an animated sprite. So sure enough, if you go search for this one here, it's like, oh yeah, here are the sprite frames. So this is for an animated sprite. And because this is all modifiable by a human, I could just change the duration here to 5, for example. It's like AI can very easily make sense of all of this and be like, oh, you want to speed up your animations? I'll just change the duration for all of this. Or I'll change the speed, or I'll whatever. Pull in different sprite frames if you want. So yeah, that's pretty nice. All right, head codex create spike traps. However, I don't want to use that anymore. I'd rather just paint scenes in manually. Change trap node back to a node 2D and delete all spike trap variants other than that itself. Yeah. All right, great. Now in my notes, I want to write a little bit more about this. For that reason, if you find yourself needing to change, say, a floating point number, e.g., you want to manifest a % chance for something to happen on a tile, you should probably just use an instantiated scene. However, if you only have a small number of variants, you could just make explicit scenes for all of them, which inherit from the same base scene. Yeah. All right, so let's write out the prompt over here, even though I'm not going to do it just yet, which is for what? Spiketrap.cs. Stop calling get overlapping bodies. Instead, track when the player enters or exits any collision region and base dealing damage, or base the call to try take hit on that. Maybe I should put this directly in my agents.md. Like, when possible, instead of using get overlapping bodies. Hey, DevHouse, thanks for the raid. I don't think I recognize the name. I should always be careful about saying that. Every once in a while, it's someone I have seen before. No, I have not seen you before, as far as I know. Let me see what you've been up to on Twitch. Collective of streamers from all across the devverse, artists, coders, musicians, designers. Oh, cool. What have you been working on? So there's no guarantee that the next time I see you raid that you're the same person, is what I understand from that, right? And hey, Darth. And hey, Ian. One of my coworkers uses the same keyboard. Yeah, I really like this keyboard. I saw another one. I keep forgetting what the name of it is. I actually bookmarked it. Hang on. Yeah, I can just check my bookmarks now. Hang on. Where was it? Keyboards. Here it is, the Zimmy keyboard. This thing. I saw this keyboard. This looks pretty cool. Well, sorry, I did not mean to zoom in like that. I don't like the track balls though, as much as this might be kind of cool. This is like a touch pad. But yeah, this looks nice, and they have a 5-column version too. And they also have this little like thumb rocker thing here. I don't know exactly what that is. I think it's a 3-way switch. But I don't think I'm going to invest in another keyboard. Also, despite that this says $85, this is just for the PCB. So like when all's said and done, it probably costs like $300 or something. I don't know. I don't need to get another one of these. Feels weird to type on with double space bars. Well, I mean, you're configuring the keyboard however you want to, so probably you don't actually have double space bars. My configuration is here, and you can see this kind of matches like the shape of the keyboard, the left half and the 3 thumb keys and the right half and the 3 thumb keys. So like the top layer is all the letters, right? Q, W, F, P, B. I don't use a QWERTY keyboard, but then things start getting a little unusual when you look in the other layers. So yeah, this it's not totally brain breaking, but it could be for some people. But yeah, I hope you had a good stream, Dev House. For those new here, we're working on a game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. And I am just trying to get spike traps working for this new sub game that we have. So I'm not an artist. I did not do any of this art. I just bought these asset packs off of Itch, excuse me. But now we can go and break vases here. We can hit these slimes and eventually destroy them. They can hit us and we'll get knocked back. And we'll also lose a little bit of speed when that happens. And part of the reason why is because this game is not what it appears. By virtue of this being part of Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, you will eventually get a bomb. You'll try bombing a wall. And instead of the wall actually breaking, it's going to destroy the whole dungeon. So it's going to start falling. And you will eventually fall. And the game will shift into being now an endless runner game. So this is one such portion of the many games we have in Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. But yeah, the very first game we have is a platform. And we've got some other games that we've been brewing up here. This is the last kind of completed one that we had. This one, I still think it's a little weird to describe it this way, but this is kind of a social commentary. You have all these like shiny things that you can do, and you open loot boxes. And I want to see how long people open loot boxes for when there's no purpose. We just unlocked a portal, and you can actually just walk out of the portal and leave the game and never come back. And then yeah, you'll be in this game. And the only other thing I didn't really show, well, I guess there's also a farming game. And then this one. This is a top-down shooter. And you fight monsters and work your way through and collect power-ups. And it's like, it's pretty tough. Like if an enemy starts chasing you, you'll probably die. I think that messed up. Anyway, you spawn and you get some power-ups and it tells you you don't keep your upgrades. That is an outright lie. You do keep your upgrades, and eventually I want the player to realize this. Hopefully they don't get dejected and think like, oh, this is way too hard. But I think they'll realize like, oh, I'm killing stuff a little bit faster. I'm moving faster. I'm taking less damage. And you eventually work your way to the boss room. I'll just give myself a ton of upgrades. I'll just fly through this. But yeah, this is the power level I expect players to actually get to in this game. And then this is the boss. It is a summoner of summoners. So if you stand here long enough, it'll just fill the room with enemies, basically. It's got a lot of life because you're expected to get power-ups while you're in this room. We just killed it. We did it. All right, so instead of using get overlapping bodies, see if simply tracking a Boolean for when see if something tracking a Boolean will work when a body enters or exits. This is because this, yeah, let's just do that to prevent unnecessary allocations. All right, so I believe this is done. Let's go see. We should be able to add this in. What happened over here? Supply crate. We need to go open and then save. Supply crate. There was something kind of strange happening with the animations when you die in that top-down shooter. I gotta take a look at that. I think dying in the top-down shooter has a messed up animation. I'm not positive. We gotta look at that again. But let's go back into room 1 of this and see if we can instantiate in some spikes. Where's the trap node? There it is. All right, so instantiate spike trap. So what I want is for there to be snapping here. How do I set this up? Use grid snap. This is not correct. I need it to be 16. No, it's not. I need to offset it now. 8, 8. Ah, no, that did not work. Or wait, no, it did work. Yeah, okay, it did work. All right, so now we can snap to actual tiles here. This is Godot, yeah. And we can use this little paintbrush tool and pick this and put a whole bunch of these. Oh, it doesn't snap when you do that? Edit properties, advanced settings. Hold Alt to switch to the previously used paint snap mode. No, I don't want previously used. I want the currently used one. It's snapping to the wrong tiles now. Smart snap? What? Oh man. I don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to do that. All right. Well, I guess we just paint them in normally. Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to do. It's just annoying because it's an extra hand movement here. Okay, so delay seconds. We set this to like 0.1. Set this one to 0.2. Yeah, this is tedious. I mean, it was always going to be tedious though, right? Can we not even set it to intervals like that? No, we can't. I think it's rounding it. Or I just didn't type the number correctly. No, I typed the number correctly. Yeah, it's rounding it based on the script that we have here. 0.125. Apparently that's what we need to do here. Well, I'm not sure why. Oh, it rounds down. Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. All right. Yeah, this is stupid. I don't think it's getting saved the right way. I think it's actually saving with the rounded strings, right? Oh no, it is saving correctly. It's just rendering it differently. Oh, this is going to be very confusing, won't it? Well, fine. I'll just type these in for now. Delay seconds, 0.625. All right, so now when we reload this, we should have spike traps in the game, and they should animate in a line. Yeah, I immediately walk into one. All right, yeah, it's looking good, though. Pretty good. Pretty good indeed. All right, let's check this in. Update agents.md. I don't want unnecessary allocations, so I'm trying to steer the AI away from get overlapping bodies. Then the rest of this is just for, well, this is not needed. Fix UID in supply crate.tscn. This is just something Godot was warning me about. All right, so we deleted all of these, and base room just has this. Wow, this is a dead simple change. Yeah, super easy. Okay, so we want to check in everything but this. Get rid of spike trap variations. I just don't think it's the most ergonomic use of whatever this thing's called. Tile set scene collection source. Whoa. What did I just do? All right, so I don't want there to be spikes in this room. So let's just roll this back. And I want to go do this next. For spiketrap.cs. Stop calling get overlapping bodies. Instead, track whether the player enters or exits any collision region and base the call to try take hit on that. Yeah. What do we end up using here today? We use down to 30%. All right. I did not make, like, somehow I simultaneously made more progress than I wanted to and less progress than I wanted to. I think we got a lot of big stuff done today. Oh, this stuff can be deleted. Oh, this is the design doc. Never mind. Yeah, add vases, add spike traps. Yeah, make sure spike traps fall with the dungeon when the floor falls. Or at least they fade away. Shrink and fade. Build out the Zelda part. So we got the tools for some of this. I wanted vases so that they could cover a switch, and then you would step on the switch and it would open a door. Easy. I wanted spikes so that there was a room where you just learned that, okay, there are some obstacles that are not enemies. You can't destroy the spikes. And we need to make that puzzle room too. This is okay, though, in terms of timeline. Again, I think as long as we're done with this game by the end of the 23rd, probably, or like mostly done with it, it should be okay. Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be music day. We're going to compose music for this Dungeon Runner game. And hopefully make some progress. I started on it last week and I was just struggling with the synths that I had. It kept crashing on me. And it's so frustrating. But yeah, I want to get some music in here, and then I want to get some sound effects in here. We already have a lot of the sound effects. Oh, hey, getting hit stops my sword from swinging. Yeah, it definitely feels good, though. I can't tell if that's fading out. I don't if it is. Fade out. Falling fade tween. Fade duration seconds. What is this? 0.5? Don't we wait for this before resetting? Yeah. Why don't I see this working? Huh. Yeah, huh. I could have sworn it didn't actually fade out there. It's only half a second, so it'd probably be really hard to see. I think it fades out. No, I think something's wrong. Let's put a breakpoint here. Okay, it's definitely triggering this. Oh, we're invoking this immediately. Oh, that's not what I want. I want to wait for you to have fully fallen. Yeah, so we just put this inside of here. All right. That's why this looked weird to me. So now it's going to take an extra half second before you actually fall to the next spot. I think that's okay. Let's see how it looks at least. We should fade that out faster. Yeah. Just make it be like 0.2 seconds even. And now it'll just feel much smoother and it'll look nicer. Because you will have fallen by the time we fade out the screen. Oh yeah, that looks great. Keeping that. Change falling fade out. It now delays the screen transition so that you finish your animation completely. Well, you disappear completely before we try recreating the Dungeon Runner. All right, and then spike trap, we no longer use get overlapping bodies. Damage area body entered. Good, good, good. There's exit as well. Run the player's null. If it's not valid, set it to null. It can't. We could just do this. Yeah. Why was it yellow? No, it's fine now. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, nice. All right, let's try it out. Oh, we don't have spikes. I gotta add spikes. And why is this? It's just done. Nice. All right, show me the spikes. I'm gonna put that over here. I'm gonna run this. So they should still be able to hurt you. And I gotta see what happens when they fall. And that's probably the last thing we'll do. So I'm coming up on 6 hours of streaming here. Yes, they can still hurt you. And what happens when you make the dungeon disappear? Nothing. Same thing with vases, though. Now, coins I could see hovering there in the air. They were already hovering to begin with. The slimes, probably not a good idea to keep those there either. So we should probably make everything fall. Coins notwithstanding. Make everything fall. We're going to do that some other time, though. Make everything fall when the ground, when the falling floor passes it. Vases, slimes, traps. We don't have anything else yet, but not coins. And they should shrink and fade. So this is done. This can move down the list. This already happens, right? Did I code this? Man. So if you get hit by these things enough times, you should just stop moving quickly, right? No, it does not work that way. Just spikes make you actually take damage. I know it says right there, player would have taken damage. As of now, this is not done. I only did it for spike traps. All right. So we got a couple more rooms to make here. There's a decent amount left for that. In terms of number of coding days, we have probably like 3.5 remaining before I hit my, self-imposed deadline. And then we'll work on some more music after that. And then we'll work on the polish and story stuff. Yeah. I should push this code. Oh, I never checked this in. What did I do? Oh yeah, get rid of overlapping. And sure, let's just keep this in here. Get rid of... Just you figure it out for me. Yeah, it's bad. Get rid of get overlapping bodies. I wanted to avoid allocations as mentioned in a recent commit involving agents.md. The AI had done this before that change. All right, I'm just gonna say add one spike trap to the room. Add spike trap to room 1. This won't stick around, but I'm sick of adding it anytime I want to test it out. All right, push that. Cool. So, remaining tasks. Actually, let's close everything we have here. All right, remaining tasks. Zelda-ify the beginning part. We need to make 2 puzzles. One requires a pressure plate, and the other requires a bunch of custom logic, which I'm not even sure would be fun. I don't know, maybe I should rethink that. And then work on the endless dungeon. This is pretty much just add interesting designs to a bunch of rooms. Oh yeah, and also the bombing part. Yeah, but all in all, pretty good. We got a lot of stuff done. Again, just a reminder that none of this existed as a Monday morning, so we've been making pretty steady progress here. Yeah. Okay, well, that probably does it for the stream. I think it's actually been over 6 hours. Let me see how long it's been. This morning was 3 hours and 17 minutes. Yeah. So we are definitely over 6 hours here. All right, let me go and find someone to raid. Oh, hey. Oh, Pharaoh Runs is learning Japanese. Never mind. I was going to say he's streaming development, but he's not streaming development. All right, let's go raid this person. They're doing pixel art. I have not watched them before. No Abby appearance? No, she's been sitting in the sun. She just loves that thing, the sun. All right, thank you all for being here. I'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to be doing music. It'll just be a half day. And then Friday should be coding again. So if you like music, join tomorrow. If you like music, actually don't join tomorrow, even though I'll be working on it. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Let's go check out this new person and say hi. I could probably stick around for a few minutes. Yeah, take care, everyone. See you next time.